Note: all information presented is from the West Morris Police Department. Any unauthorized viewing of this evidence will result in punishment of the furthest extent of the law. The following is recovered evidence of what transpired in West Morris, Vermont, 1975. November 25th, 1975, 2:25 p.m. We got a new batch of them today. Poor fresh meat. These guys were always subject to seemingly endless hazing. I'm sure every prison in the country has something like this happen every time new inmates arrive. But for me, this has always felt far more disgusting than what I was expecting. Especially due to people like Abraham. This freak practically salivates at any mention of new inmates. It makes me physically ill every time I even see that waste of space. But this time he was dead silent when the bus rolled in and the newbie started walking out. He looked solemn and almost scared this time around, just staring blankly at the bus. I honestly didn't know if I should be glad or concerned. Any of this thinking was quickly shattered by the normal hooting and hollering from the other inmates. Clearly, the silent affliction was not infectious. Though, after scoping out a new batch, I saw what Abraham was so terrified of. There was one who stood tall amongst his hunched over and timid counterparts. He walked confidently and showed no fear. Normally, if I saw something like this, I just assumed that we had a rather low IQ new inmate, but not this guy. He felt entirely different than anything I've ever seen before. This is the most intrigued I've ever been for a new batch before. 11:30 p.m. Okay, I don't know who or what this guy is, but he's a complete weirdo. When I was making my rounds tonight, I noticed how weirdly quiet it was. Usually, when we get new inmates, you can hear crying through the prison as the sinking realization of where they are sets in. But I noticed tonight that it was eerily silent on the far east side. No crying, no whining, no prayers, no snoring. Absolutely nothing. Or at least that's what it seemed to be. I looked up towards the upper cells to see a faint glowing coming from one of them. The sight hit me with a feeling of extreme dread that festered in my stomach. It was the new guy. I didn't know if I wanted to rush up there or take my sweet time. Nevertheless, I made my way to the cell. A feeling of dread turning into a deep primal fear the closer I got. And when I saw more than validated what I felt. Two reddish, yellow glowing eyes piercing the darkness. They stared right at me. I fell back as soon as I saw them and sprinted the hell out of there. I had never seen something so predatory in my life before. Like it was looking for food or something. Not even bothering to check on the rest of the inmates. I don't know if I could bring myself to come back tomorrow. Should I tell anyone? If so, who? Do the other inmates see it too? Do I come back and to ask what would the warden say? God, I need to sleep. But I'm too scared. What did I see tonight? November 26th, 1975, 10 a.m. So, I decided to come in early to see if I can get any of the inmates to tell me if they had seen anything like I had. Only to be met with nothing but a horde of absolutely soulless men. All of them were just kind of shuffling around, doing their chores, sure, but just not the way a person would. Mouths agape, heads down, feet shuffling. It was all just the most bizarre thing that I had ever witnessed. I asked Jerry, who had been working here far longer than I had, if he had ever seen something like this before. He told me he had never seen the prisoners act like the living dead before. He also reported the sound of flapping wings coming from the east side of the prison. I asked if it was a bird. He responded that it sounded so powerful and massive that it couldn't have been anything like the tiny birds that sometimes find their way inside. I asked the other guards and even the warden about both of these things, but they all had no idea what was happening either. The warden said he's calling a meeting just before noon, so hopefully we can get this figured out, what to do. No, there's no sign of the new guy anywhere. 11:45 a.m. So apparently the new guy's name is Adrian Johnson. His file says he was charged for theft, but there's no actual police report to back it up. 11:50 a.m. Okay, all of the guards and doctors at the infirmary have gone missing. 12:10 p.m. The warden said he called multiple hospitals around the area, and they should be arriving in a few hours with the proper materials. I'm not really sure what they mean, but I suppose I'll find out soon. 1:10 p.m. The whole thing was a blur. I don't know how, or I don't know. I just don't know. During lunch, one of the inmates just stopped moving altogether, like frozen solid, not even breathing as far as I could tell. Jerry went to ask him what was wrong when the guy lunged at Jerry, sinking his teeth into his neck. More inmates joined in, holding Jerry down. They began to feast on him. Some of the other guards tried to help, but they were quickly overwhelmed too. I ran out of there as fast as I could, trying to block out the slurping and screeching going on behind me. Before I could get to a safe place, I was stopped by Abraham. He looked awful. Pale skin, sweat dripping down his face, and the most terrified expression that I've ever seen on a human being before. He tried to speak, but instead of words that came out of his mouth, it was thick, bloody vomit. I could see his teeth mixed in with the fluid. I would have recoiled in disgust if he didn't immediately stand right up. A pulsing boil appeared on his forehead. It throbbed intensely until it burst open, revealing the inhuman snout of some otherworldly creature. The rest of his body began to fall apart. Flesh dripped off his body as bones began to shift and grow. This transformation gave me the opportunity to slip out of his grasp. I sprinted again, this time even faster. Eventually my eyes landed on an eroded sign. Solitary confinement. Before I shut myself in, I took one last look at Abraham. He was hunched over, twitching at every change his body endured. I saw wings begin to form under his remaining skin. They began to push against it until they bursted out of his back. Black and red blood spurted out of him as grunts of pain turned into beastly roars of rage. It was the final sight that befell me before I slammed the cell door shut, locking myself into a dark solitude. I don't know how long it's been. Maybe a few hours? Days? I don't know. I could still hear them now. The sound of human screaming is gone, replaced with animalistic screeching. I heard the paramedics finally arrive. It sounded like they were overrun in mere seconds, though. Maybe there's someone else who found shelter, too. Oh God, they found me. They're banging on the door. They're all here. Oh God, no. I can hear more and more of them hitting the door. They want in. They want me. I'm gonna die. Please, not like this. I wanted to do so much. Police report. December 4th, 1975. Just over a week ago, all contact with West Morris Prison went silent. Any attempts to contact the prison, as well as its staff, have gone unanswered. Multiple missing persons reports have been made by the families of the staff, as well as the medical team sent there. All search efforts have remained unsuccessful in turning up any evidence of their whereabouts. Officers who were called in to investigate the prison all reported dramatic shifts of its architecture. Large Gothic spires protruded out of seemingly random parts of the building. Eyewitnesses' accounts state that was simultaneously the most natural and alien thing they had ever seen. Further reports claim that the spires were in a sort of constant motion that they could not describe. The prison seems to be elevated as well. with it now sitting on top of a large, isolated hill. Upon closer inspection, all new additions to the structure have been revealed to be flowing blood, including the hill. Individuals who have attempted to approach the castle have been enshrouded in a layer of thick fog and disappeared. The SWAT team sent in to investigate the prison had the same fate befall them. The only thing that has been recovered is the journal of one of the guards. It's currently being analyzed. The town surrounding West Morris has begun to experience unnatural incidents. Disappearances throughout the town have begun to spike at record-breaking rates over the last week. The missing person reports for the last 7 hours alone are as follows: 22, 1, 13, 16, 9, 18, and 5 in the last 45 minutes. Bat infestations have spiked recently as well, with those who reported these cases going missing. The amount of daylight has been steadily decreasing, with only 4 hours of it today. Military assistance has been called in to assist us. We're currently waiting for a response, though it should be noted that all communication through the town seems to have been terminated. So, the likelihood of a response isn't very high. Alternate methods are being considered, such as a potential evacuation. And report.